Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
Join Mark and Don for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12-gauge autoloader.
Sure.
The 45 long slide.
Yep.
With laser sighting.
You betcha.
The Uzi 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Phased plasma rifle in a 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay. We'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we'd hoped you to always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun, permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt. Put men of God in jail. Harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn. And your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? Oh, sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand. Defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. Pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you. God bless this republic.
Well, I know I miss more than hit with a face that was launched to sink, and I seldom feel the bright relief. It's been the worst day since yesterday. If there's one thing I have said, is that the dreams I once had now lay in bed. As the four winds blow my wits through the door, it's been the worst day since yesterday. Falling down to you, sweet ground, where the flowers they bloom. Well, it's there I'll be found. Hurry back to me, my wild calling. It's been the worst day since yesterday. These wounds have seen no more, except for the scars I have ignored, and this endless crutch, well, it's never enough. It's been the worst day since yesterday. Hell says hello, well, it's time to pastures green that I've yet to see. Hurry back to me, my wild calling. It's been the worst day since yesterday. It's been the worst day since yesterday. It's been the worst day since yesterday.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Evening Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Clarkey. one day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, southwest, east, northeast, and south. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube, on the Liberty Tree Radio channel, live feed, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, AM and FM conventional stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet, Hallmark, and Golden Spike Technologies east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon and evening to all of our friends out there in lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, along with the CONUS, the outlying 2 states, territories, and the clock. Somewhere's midnight, somewhere's midday, but right now it's 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the bottom of the state of Michigan. It is Monday. It is the 10th of August. It is the 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K, 2020. Old Earth calendar, 2020, year of conflict, year of betrayal, and the dance of swords. And it's kind of fun is today traveling the way we did, and everybody that we talked to totally discussed with and fed up with and pretty well finished with the dog muzzle nonsense, but especially amongst the young people, which we had a chance to talk to more than a few and kind of actually motivate some. In fact, all we did is confirm what they already pretty well, believe. And what's interesting is they're pretty well disgusted with. So there's a lot of people out there who are actually listening and or already have a pretty good understanding. And if you just plug a few more things in for them, it connects the rest of the dots. And everybody has something to help everybody else with to make them understand the rats, the liars, and the turds that make up the government and the foreigners outside that are manipulating the country to try and destroy the future of, those very young people I was just talking about. In fact, they're all seeing this now, which is kind of cool, that every passing day makes no sense. All of it's nonsense, and, there's no standard. There's nothing that in any way, shape, or form has intelligent process attached to it. It's purely arbitrary and capricious idiocy. And that's good, because the people that are thinking are the people you want on your side, the zombies and, the Muslim face muzzle wearers, because that's really what they are. Isn't it funny, all these women, you told them, they were going to wear the Arab face muzzle no matter what. Oh, you can't do that. I'm not going to. Well, all you have to do is, la, 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 la. And most of them are wearing these black face covers now, because black is the chic color for the, basically like a single point bra cup for the face. Yeah, think about it. It's a mono cup for whatever size, I guess, whatever cup you want to wear for your face. And rest is history, as they say. So a lot of people are actually up to speed, and that's good. And we have to provide a little bit more ammunition today. They in turn are sharing and hopefully right now even listening, because we offered ways to get hold of and ways to communicate with other people. That's really important. As it is, medium temperatures for classic Michigan August in the 80s, headed towards the 90s, but it's the humidity that's really up right now. So beware. And because of that, if you're wearing or carrying weapons, I'm going to remind you that, those tropical rainforest armpits you've got, if you're carrying any conventional arm, you better make a point of taking the gear off and disassembling everything, so to speak. Get that weapon out of the holster, first of all. Take the time to drop the magazine, extract the round that's in the weapon, if you're carrying one of the two, which you should be, and go over everything and dry it down and give it a quick lubrication, too, because this humidity plus your body salts is nothing but it's like alien acid for blood, okay? Only it's your poor, 380 auto, 9mm, 40 caliber, I don't care what it is. And I'm carrying the Glock. Yeah, well, you still got steel parts on the Glock, and they're really going to be embarrassed. Again, it's really bizarre Where, especially if you're carrying shoulder carry. I know a lot of people are, I'm carrying my belt line. You got to tuck in the crock of your, the crack of your arse, okay, the crook of your back there. All that sweat running down the spine and dripping onto, collecting there around that, that $500 piece of metal and plastic you got. Keyword metal. Plastic, it's not so big a deal, but all those little cheapy metal parts that they make for the Glock or anything else in a polymer frame, all the rest of those parts are going to oxidize real quick. And you'd be amazed how fast that can happen, especially the perfect storm combination of body heat, external temperature, oils, and moisture. And don't forget, that's another thing about commutation. Why is it this stuff seems to suck into everywhere and violate all these spaces, like, behind the extractor and, et cetera, around pins? And, well, that body oil of yours works just like a very fine, like 5-weight or, 10-weight machine oil. And it bonds and works well with the H2O that's out there, which then, of course, helps to create oxidation. And I've had a lot of people over the years, as I've pointed out, that they were thinking about getting a chromed revolver that they might have seen at the sale, which, by the way, I've bought a bunch of, too, at one time or another. Chrome revolvers, automatics are, next in line. And they weren't originally chromed, and they weren't originally, shiny or satin finish. If they went with a chrome satin finish, buff everything up, make it look a little softer. Chrome is the way to hide the sins of what we're talking about by filling in the holes, the pockmire holes from, pock holes from body salts and oils. And literally, pockmarking the frame of the weapon or the barrel of the weapon, very, very common. One thing to remember, too, you're carrying something in a holster. The holster is like a funnel. Whatever collects around that, what's the low point where it kind of even pools up a little bit, or at least, has resistance before it oozes through the bottom of the holster. A lot of you guys are, using different types of holster rigs. Even the solid ones allow for a certain amount of, at least bonding or contact area with the plastic, even if it's a solid mold plastic holster. They make contact at a certain point, and amazingly enough, that's where the moisture locks in. You'll have score lines, all kinds of terrible stuff. So I'm warning you in advance. Do proper maintenance on your weapon. Do your weapons justice. I don't care if it's a Glock or, I don't necessarily like Glocks, but I love all firearms, and I hate to see you guys spend your money and then lose a big chunk of it accordingly, or have to do repair work that isn't necessary if you, do preventative maintenance. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Okay, so heads up. In this weather especially, you got to watch it. You don't want your weapons out there in the wrong place at the right time and going downhill real fast, which they will. Another thing is ammunition. When you do drop those, if you do get something where you get into moisture or you've been carrying for quite some time, the first round that's in the tube there, make sure you wipe it down with a dry cotton cloth. You don't lubricate ammunition. Do not lubricate ammunition. You can still dry mop it with a cotton rag. Clean, dry, unoiled, unsullied cotton rag. Cleaned underpants that have been shredded up, T-shirts, virgin cloth. I don't care what you want to use, whatever's your, personal choice, but wipe the ammunition down, make sure that everything is checked, and again, clean out and swab out the inside of the chamber. Do a quick push on the barrel, too. It doesn't cost, a few strokes with a short cleaning rod. My God, it's only a handgun. But it's going to save you a lot of trouble in the long run. It's going to eliminate a lot of issues that otherwise would be very devastating to the firearm. So we're trying to prevent unnecessary damage to drag that weapon through to the far side of the war when all is said and done. And the ammunition, well, once you pull the trigger, she's gone. That case is gone. Don't worry, the next man in line better be squared away, too, and better not have some crusty spots on it, or you're going to be doing an immediate action drill, which we don't really need. Another thing I've said, and we'll be reminding everybody, especially like days like today, pre-hydrate and hydrate before you get outside. Another thing is create your own shade, okay? Boonie hats are cheap. In fact, you can go to Dollar Tree and typically find some kind of little cheapy boonie hat there. Nothing fancy. Now, if you go to Dollar General, they actually have some pretty decent ripstop, camouflage, or solid color boonie hats that are cheap. And when they have a sale on clothing, which is constantly, those hats may be half price cheap. And I have bought many, many, many of them and put them in the inventory, and I've got them in every vehicle for that reason, because when we gatherate around the country, if we stop at a Dollar General, I always look at their clothes. Camouflage is always marked down. Clothing is always marked down. Shoes, and, oh, that's right, headgear, hats, baseball caps, but most important, both the screen and unscreen canopy type boonie hats, bigger ones. Create your own shade. Not a big deal. When you only paid $2 or $3 for them, there's no excuse not to have it on your head this time of year. And have it rolled up and in your combat rig ready to go so you don't lose it. Or at least roll it up, put it in your pocket. You know how to roll up a boonie and put it in your pocket? It's not hard to do. And in fact, a little technique you better practice. Go check it out. Do an experiment. You'll figure it out. Anyway, it's priceless headgear, and create your own shade. So that's another solution, not just complaining about the problems. Sunscreen, all that other stuff, that's cool. You try to look neat, man, fantastic. We don't have a problem with that. But I would remind everybody again that more important is if you protect yourself with shade, then the sun isn't as much of a problem. Yeah, you might still need it if you guys are kind of pasty-faced out there. A little sunscreen won't hurt, or suntan lotion, take your pick. There is some Vietnam-era stuff. I tell you what, I have cases of it still. Vietnam-era sunscreen, if you ever seen it. Guys, this stuff is so heavy a proof that if you put it on like nose, or like on a lot of people like to do the jock type thing years ago, where it was like the football players, they put a line of the stuff on each cheek and then some on the nose. Well, this stuff is like 100% blocked. And when they were done, the areas away, that they didn't touch because they didn't put a little bit on all of the body surface, when they'd be done at the end of the day and they'd wash everything up, oh, my face is a little tender, except in the spots where they put the sunblock. And the nose would be a nice white, and the little line under each eye would be white, about the thickness of your thumb, and everything else would be scorched red. Yeah, it was made to be put over the whole exposed surface area, and if you want some kind of uniformity and not look kind of strange, you have to catch up with some orangey, what is it, iodine dye, copper tone, iodine dye, and try to fill in the blanks. Otherwise, you look kind of, strange. So if you've got the technology, be generous and use it over the whole surface, a little bit, not a big plump, but, a little bit. Just take a little bit and spread it all over. It does more than sufficient for the task. That stuff is older than my children. Okay, and it still works really well. I'm sure whatever toxins are in it, by God, the fact that it's lasted this long, it wouldn't be made today because it wouldn't pass any kind of standard established by the weenie boys. But it works. If you got any of it, don't throw it away. Hang on to it. We're going to be seeing far worse weather or conditions. You're out in the middle of BFE. Kind of handy not to be suffering as much. So just a heads up on that. Remember, they were in Southeast Asia. Tropical rainforest, and in fact, tropical environment across the board. Ask a guy what the temperature, or just go take a look. Modern Vietnam hasn't changed. Go take a look at the temperatures over there. Yeah, think about it. So, and next, another issue, one of the other things that we were talking about here during the 2-hour block, ammunition. End of Monday here, it's a regular business day. It looks like they are now catching up with and running through all the orders they got over the weekend that they didn't process with the credit cards or whatever, and are finishing with the credit cards or finishing whatever they were doing. And man, it's like a slot machine just hit a bingo, like. And while I was looking at some of the companies, the tickle meter went from 60 cases or 60 boxes. Remember, a lot of them are not cases now. They're just boxes of ammo, 20-round boxes or 50. And it went from, 60 or 100 down to 60, 60 to 40, 40 to 30. I came back up the scroll and gone. Now, I don't think that just happened right now. It could. I mean, I can't say that. There's 300 million Americans here, but part of this is it is Monday, and the one thing about all these businesses, and ammo dealers do guns, ammo, and all kinds of stuff. Well, guys, there's only so many employees, and that means that there's share timing between administrative bookkeeping, again, order files, and then you got to fill the orders, and then you got to ship the orders. There's all the fun stuff that you do there. It's all part of the job, but you do it in waves. And so somebody was asking me, why isn't it just like all at once the ammunition went? Well, because all at once they started going through all of their placed delayed orders, and some of them might have even been in the shop that day, and they just went and gone. Kind of like that South Park thing. Yeah, we put $100 in the bank and it's gone. Okay, same thing. Only in this case, don't worry, it's not going to a bad place per se. I mean, we don't know who all the people are that are buying it. It could be somebody that doesn't like you. But for the most part, you got to figure that the people that are actually investing in ammunition right now are probably in your camp. At least a good chunk of them are. And so that ammunition went somewhere useful. And again, you might even see it someday. Depending on how much they bought, your allies probably are better prepared than you are. So just think about that. Now, another caliber that somebody asked me about, and I have mentioned several times, 38 Smith & Wesson. Another thing somebody asked is, well, why is 38 Smith & Wesson so popular? Well, it's because we made millions of guns before and during World War II that were chambered in 38 Smith & Wesson, mostly Victory Model 10s. However, there were a whole bunch of Colts that were made, and don't forget a bunch of top-break Enfield and Webley revolvers that were made overseas, both by the Australians and by the Canadians and by the Brits. And these are in 38 Smith & Wesson, or what's called 38 short. Depends on where you are. Or 380 S&W. There's a couple other names overseas, depending on which country. Okay? That ammunition, the modern stuff, is fantastic. In fact, as I pointed out a million times, Privy Partisan is building brand new, fresh ammunition for those guns. And so there's no reason to, now, of course, it's a problem, but before, there's no reason to not be able to take them out and shoot them because the price of the ammunition from Privy Partisan for a 50-round box was comparable to buying standard 38 Smith & Wesson Special. Now, 38 S&W, the only thing that you can use is 38 S&W in the gun. Okay, that's what it was built for. If you keep an eye out, I don't know if we're going to see any Privy Partisan batches come in. And a company that has been out of everything, pretty much, still has some ammo, but you got to catch as catch can, is AIM Surplus. AIM's got a really good Privy Partisan connection. And it is the best priced for 38 Smith & Wesson if you're looking for 38 S&W. It's the short round. It's not 38 Special. We're talking 38 Smith & Wesson. And there is a difference, and a lot of you probably either bought something, and you should know what it is, if that's the case, I would hope, or you got one of Grandpa's or your dad's guns, and it's in that caliber. Now, first of all, look around and make sure there's nothing in any ammo cans or in any boxes somewhere. If it is, sort it out, figure out what you got, make sure it's the right stuff. It should be easy to identify. And again, it's a shorter cartridge than 38 Smith & Wesson. That's the easy way. If you compare the two, you'll notice it right away. The round is effective. It will kill you dead. Oh, it's an antique round. No, it's a very deadly pistol round, period. Just think of it that way. And as far as being useful, sure, I'd carry it. I wouldn't even think twice. Everybody goes, will it be your first choice? Well, did you say I get a choice here? It's like, would you carry one? Yeah, I'd carry one, and I wouldn't think twice about it, only because I know how to make the gun work. The 38 Smith & Wesson round is effective enough. It's designed for, as a defense gun, and that in that particular chambering, it's comparable to, say, 380 auto and short of 38 Special, obviously. However, all the new modern rounds are made modern spec, and the performance is mid-grade. So you haven't lost anything with the new ammunition. And again, that's 38 Smith & Wesson. So the big thing is watch for Privy Partisan or PMC, because PMC does make, I don't know, like I told you a few days ago, PMC used to be what Preview Partisan is now. And because of Sung Young Moon and a bunch of other stuff that happened with politics with Korea, PMC got blocked for a while there. And the rest is history, as they say. So right now, if you do run into some PMC, it's just as good. It's not a problem. You might run into some other company, but the big thing is also price. You will find that if you start looking for other manufacturers, you're not going to see it at the same price to do the PPU ammo, the Preview Partisan. So just something to think about. If you're trying to buy, trying to get the best price, you want to watch for the Preview ammunition if at all possible. So just a little heads up there. That's not 380 auto. That's 38 Smith & Wesson. That was the question. Well, would 38 Smith & Wesson work? It's no, one's a rim cartridge. The other one's a rimless cartridge, an auto cartridge. 380 auto is not the same as, for instance, 380 British, which that's probably what you were asking about, because there are some boxes of that stuff out there. It was built for the Webley and the Enfield guns and 38 Smith & Wesson and a couple other pistols they made during World War II for the British military and for the Crown. And a lot of those guns are floating around. And if you've got ammunition for that, for that particular weapon, match the stuff up. But it will work in either the Enfield pistols or in the 5/Victory model Smith & Wesson model 10 World War II models, and anything that's comparably changed. So those are not the same. The 380 English you probably got a box of it, has a broadhead armory, has a broad arrow on the box. They're plain white boxes typically. I think they're 25 count or was it 24? 25 or 20? No, 24 count. I think they're 24 count because it's 6, 6, and 6. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's probably 24 count. But they're a white box, they're square, and they will have some other numbers on them, but you'll see looks like a broad, like a V with a line in the middle of it. It's broad arrow is what that is. That's British military issue. And it does say 380. That's not 380 automatic. That is the 38 Smith & Wesson round. So just, again, look at it. You'll see that it's rimmed. Open up a box. Only one. Don't open up all the boxes. You don't need to. If one box is there, they're all marked the same. Look at one box and confirm what I'm talking about, and you'll see what I'm saying. Now, if that's ammunition that you were looking at that you could buy, please let us know where it is, because if you were looking for a 380 auto, you haven't found it yet. But we had a lot of people, like I said, looking for 38 Smith & Wesson. So we greatly appreciate if you will let us know where that ammunition is. And that'll help us out with other people who need that ammo. We're trying to connect, we're trying to connect the ammo to its owners. There we go. Think of it that way. Another thing here real quick. We were talking also about foodstuffs and stuff coming in right now. The corn is coming in. Somebody was asking, can you dry corn? Yeah, actually, there's a number of different ways you can process the corn, but there are a number of corn drying formulas that are out there for using a food dryer. If you just do the research, go over to YouTube. There's a bunch of different videos on the subject. And the sweet corn's coming in right now. Our first volley of potatoes. We pulled all of the bucket potatoes out this last week, and Nancy just pulled the last couple of buckets out yesterday, so we've got more fresh potatoes, a whole big pile of them. There's also recipes or formulas, actually, for doing dried potatoes. You want to check those out? There's no sense in me we're covering it here on the air. Go to YouTube and go through the YouTube videos on food processing, and specifically on potatoes, because you can dry potatoes, but you have to follow certain, rules to get that done. Another thing, and this has to do with the next up-and-coming part of the problem we're going to see is specific food types that are overseas not necessarily showing up. There is now some competition going on. Remember I said you're in the competition, the big one. Well, at the international level, we're fighting with a bunch of other people over the same pile of food, like in South America and also in Southeast Asia. So what's happening is, looks like we're getting bumped on Southeast Asia, Other people have just as much money, in fact, have more reliable money than we do that people are trusting right now. And so what's happening is we're getting bid out of certain product markets. This is going to be reflected in the next quarter, probably around October, the last quarter, that we're really going to see this become apparent. Now, let me give you an example. We're able to right now run around the planet and pilfer other people's goodies, market-wise. We can, we're paying for it. But if you want an example, as I've said many times, go over to Dollar Tree, and you'll pay attention like Pampa. Pampa is China Sport. I'm sure it's still China Sport owned. I would think that it is. I haven't really done research on the company, but the lion's share of its product is, China packaged. It could be fruits, it could be, vegetables, mostly sweet stuff. Half is mostly sweet stuff, but not all. Also, it's meat products like fish. What's interesting is if you look at the canning right now and look at the packaging, Paraguay, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, Peru, and Chile. We're, like I said a couple months ago, we're sweeping the South American continent and buying what excess is on the market there that apparently is available. Okay? Now that's nice, but you have competitors, and an example is with what happened with the Israeli bombing or Israeli sabotaging or whatever happened in Lebanon with Beirut. That big corn silo, or that, it's not just corn, that grain silo that you see there got hammered hard with whatever. A good percentage of what they had in inventory has been heavily damaged, is not repairable, not recoverable. But they will try. I know that's true. You see all that food stock that was poured out of the parts of the silos that were partially destroyed. That's national treasure, and that's a perishable foodstuff. They're irreplaceable items. They're going to be in there trying to figure out how they can scavenge and salvage as much of that as possible and still make it safe. And depending on how desperate they become, safe isn't even going to be part of the formula. It's just how much can they salvage. So understand that that's a big chunk of the food reserves that were either for the international market outbound or were food reserves specifically for the national reserve, the national treasury. So this is an example of where when hits like that take place because of major centralization, well, look at what just happened there all at once. Pop, pop, boom, boom. This is why, and again, there's so many good things you can get as lessons when the bad guys do things like this. Understand that what you saw there is why I've been talking about the idea, and I don't care what it is, ammunition, food, equipment, whatever, you get it out of the warehouse and you disperse it. You cannot grab smoke. But on the other hand, if you get to the base, you have a central fire and you have a certain location that's very, 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 very centralized, then all you do is what you saw right there, and wow, all of a sudden they don't have anything to work with. So tactically dispersed right now is the key to keeping us alive through the winter should the enemy, the filth, the excrement in Washington, and the enemy, the filth, the excrement that is the globalist, try to hit the switch on food. It doesn't mean you're going to live high, but it does mean that you would survive. And everybody needs to be promoted to do the food thing. I don't care what it is. A lot of people are already up on this anyway. Mason jars, canning lids, everything is going off the shelf big time. And now anything and everything used that can be scavenged is also being picked up and consumed, which is good. A lot of the stuff like the mason jars are going in for hobby craft. Well, guys, that isn't happening now. The stuff is sliding back over to where it belongs in food storage, and everybody is looking for more. So that's a double plus 50. Mark. Well, whoever it is, whoever they are, if they put food on the shelf, every pound that they put on the shelf means however many hours or days they're going to go animalistic, hopefully. They won't go as crazy. Now, there's still a lot of idiots out there who think they're going to steal from everybody else, and they're going to get shot. I've told you before, there's a criminal element out there. Well, we need to get anything. You don't want to take it from. If you say you'll take it from somebody else, you're also kind of saying you take it from me in a heartbeat, too. So I don't have a whole lot of faith or confidence in you, except that you've demonstrated you're a scallywag and a pirate. So
I know how to treat scallywags and pirates, and I better do it sooner rather than later when things kick off. But you know full well there's a lot of fools that are, rather they have the same amount of time. That's a criminal mind. You have the same amount of time that I do. You've got the same resources or better, but you're going to be busy slugging beer and, on sports they can't really have as much fun with. It's birds. And then, of course, when the time comes, rather than having taken all that money they squander, if they squandered and haven't used it usefully, their logic is they're going to steal from you. Well, that person is no different from the New World Order cretin at the other end. So they're both the same ilk. And for that reason, you better be ready to deal with either one. And, of course, there you do have the zombies. My feces doesn't stink, yours does. And they're no different from the pirate. I deserve your food. No. Yeah, whatever. So if you've got people that are thinking and you catch their ear, remember, food and ammo, food and ammo, food and ammo. A little late on the ammo, but not too late on the food. And both are weapons. So it is critical that we get everybody into the food cycle and to whatever level we can. And I don't care what they store. It doesn't make any difference. Remember, even if they get a little excessive in one area but don't have enough in other, it's the old story of you're going to be trading. Oh, lots of coffee, but I didn't get as much of it, fill in the blank. Well, somebody else got lots of the other stuff but didn't get much coffee. Or, figure, well, I'll trade when the time comes. That's how a lot of people really are thinking, is that they will trade, exchange, barter. That's good. We can live with that. In fact, every person that at least was able to, purchase more and get it off the shelf means that the inventory system, the wholesale system, the job system, had to go find some more and put it on the shelf. And it's like I've told you, you guys love certain calibers of ammunition. You want to see more replaced to be able to put more into your larder, your inventory for less money. You need to buy and get the stuff off the shelf, unless you can get it off the wholesale shelf because you can buy pallets. And if you work together with people, with crews, you could do that right now. If you work together as a team, you people could do that with food, munitions, medical supplies, anything. But you got to get motivated and you got to get focused. And that means you need to find people you can count on, and everybody needs to commit to resources. Now, you divvy it up. You don't pile it up. When you get pallets of stuff, you don't leave it in pallets. That gets spread out immediately. That's what we do with everything I get in volume. There's nothing that stays here that I acquire. When I acquire a big pile of stuff, it goes somewhere else as quickly as possible. And I don't care what it is. Clothing, it's like I said, T-shirts. I have been getting, well, up until this last couple months, I was getting quantities of stuff. Did I throw any of them or, not take them? I took everything. I don't have children here, little children. But you know what? I know a lot of people that do, and it doesn't take much to store. And when the time comes, now all of a sudden we got brand new or like new, clean clothing that we can issue out to any age, any size person. Well, that makes a big difference. And again, what did it cost? Just the picking it up or accepting it, because in many cases it's been given to us. And then coming up with a storage system. That's not hard. Just got to be, thinking ahead. Right now, the big thing is turning back to 50-gallon barrels and with open mouth top type dog down. And again, a couple of big 55-gallon heavy-duty, heavy-wall garbage bags inside. Everything gets packed up. Everything gets sealed. Dog the lid down. And there you go. We're done. You think about a big ball of polyester cotton is not real heavy, and you throw it on its side, anybody, even a child, can roll that over to the truck. Or when you roll it off the truck, they can roll it out of the way. Here's another one. Okay, guys, go play. There you go. Get it over there where the other guys are. Yep, push, push, push. There you go. Come up with a system, make a plan, execute the plan. Just that simple. Get it done. Now, another thing, and by the way, somebody's asking, I have no confidence in anything other than the fact that we are headed towards a shipwreck with November. Nothing's going to fix it. I keep people going, well, you guys got to fix this. What do you mean, fix what? I've noticed a lot of people are saying that are like veterans and such. Well, you guys, we can't have a civil war. You got to fix it. Fix what? Fix how? Who are we supposed to have a conversation with? The Fruit Loops that are burning the town down out in the street? Are you crazy? Number one, can't live with them. No, I don't want them hiding back in the shadows so they can come back out and monkey poke or do the Charles Manson thing. the Chucky Manson, crazy town stuff, which is really what you're dealing with here. I've said before, go find the book Helter Skelter or any of the books on Manson and read them. But Helter Skelter is a good one. That was a propaganda piece to begin with. Make no mistake about it. But Helter Skelter, and find an original copy at the used bookstore, first and second generation, no more, just in case they altered anything, and read it. And understand when you read it, you look at what's going on, you're going to go, oh, wow. Well, there's no negotiating with these insane people. They're finished. They're gone. They're around the corner. You can't fix them. You're not going to fix them, except probably with, again, small arms fire. So, guys, you got a job. Part of it is to, save yourself. You're in a competition, and sadly enough, your government, intentionally, the aliens, the Jewish mob, who run education, the Jewish mob who is running all these operations to run the country down, the public fool system, created the product that you have here and knew exactly what they were creating when they did it. It's not an accident. None of this is an accident. None of this is an accident. None of this is an accident. If you think so, pull your head out of your fundamental orifice and start, smelling the coffee. Of course, you're going to have to wipe some feces out of your nose first. But smell the coffee here. This didn't happen by accident. Trump is one of the most scurrilous critters we've had in a long time. He rides like Clinton does. Okay, if you look at all the official paperwork, look at all the garbage that Clinton said, but then take a look at what was done, the physical actions, what actually transpired. Okay, the noise as far as the mouthpiece goes is one thing, but the kosher mafia running everything, all the baby butchers, and murderers behind the scenes, all the Jewish mob that's running oh no, totally different situation altogether. In fact, the latest thing talking about Big Pharma, let me just give you an example there. Haven't we had Big Pharma standing in front of us for how many months now? Dr. Kevorkian there that's been telling you the latest thing. Well, you guys should wear goggles too. Yeah, you should wear goggles. You should be wearing some over your eyes too. Yeah. He's kind of laughing his ass off because he randomly throws it out there, and the neurotic, hypochondriacs immediately are looking for face shields and, body condoms and, rubber gloves for their private parts. No, not condoms, rubber gloves, because they're heavier and thicker. And again, you know what I mean? It's just, these people are doofs. They're the idiots, especially the Prozac prodigy and the Zoloft types. Yeah, that's people who can't handle their lives are telling you all about how you need to handle yours. And they have to have drugs to handle their lives. Okay? Well, no, they're not going to tell us what to do. But they're the frothing at the mouth Fruit Loops that are your enemies have prompted, coached, and have come up with as the organic sandbag, to help keep you busy and confused, to create pressure from the side and pressure from below, in addition to like the Antifa, the kill all the white people crew, the rest of the nonsense that we see out there right now. Okay, that's all. Again, they're trying to throw a bunch of stuff at you, and you're supposed to be so confused you don't know how to respond. Well, keep it simple, stupid. Remember, the basics are there. Whatever threat finally starts to really peck at you, no matter what it is, you are going to be able to deal with it. And then we will focus like a scalpel accordingly. We aren't going to thrash around. We are masters of the trade. We are in competition serious. We already know we're in competition. We're not going to have to wait to figure that out, right? So we are going to do the right thing, get it done properly, and then we're going to go look for the bastard that stirred the pot and caused the problem, and we're not going to stop. Once this thing kicks off, we throw gasoline on the fire. This does not slow down, but we aren't going to mess with the peons. We're looking for the bumps behind the curtain. Everybody I've talked to pretty well understands that is the issue. There's something else going on. Good. Well, now let's point them at the real problems, and let's make sure that everybody's on the same page to strike in the same way. Then there's no place for them to hide. And that's how it should be. So we're going to be tested. Our metal will be tested. Let's make sure we're properly tempered before that happens. Another thing, I had a conversation with one person on this. It was kind of fun. Watching all of the Antifa do the medical support, at least they're motivated, guys. Your enemy may not have everything squared away the way that, as far as working knowledge, but they at least have most of the tools in the toolbox, and they're moving in the right direction, which is more than most everybody else who sits on their hands. But there's a lot of places where you really don't need a tourniquet, okay? We've been counting the number of incidents, including a lot of stuff that hasn't gotten big social media national coverage, but I got sent a few videos and I watched them, and in each case, it's like immediately they start going for the tourniquet no matter what the wound is, and this is the other direction that we kind of talked about for years on this program about, hey, you should know how to use a tourniquet. Yes, that includes knowing when not to use a tourniquet, okay? Not, N-O-T, not use a tourniquet. Excuse me. And the problem is that we see is that in many cases they were earnest. I mean, you got to admit, first of all, think about this. The immediate response on the patient is there. The immediate response, or at least part of it, is unnecessary, but you got to admit, they at least got motivated. Your patient might die from all of the treatment, but the patient did get treatment. At least they didn't leave their, corpse on the battlefield, pumping blood and all screaming and bug-eyed and thrashing and running away. You got to give your enemy certain credit no matter what. And again, don't ever laugh at somebody facing you with a gun no matter who the hell they are. Why? Because even though there's a lot of dead airspace, unfortunately, that random fickle finger of fate thing with a bullet, you might be within the airspace that's not dead airspace. In other words, it might get you, it might find you, and you get tagged, and it's embarrassing, especially when it might be a terminal tag, and you're going to be chuckling for a minute, and then plop, you're dead. Why? Well, because once the trigger is pulled, Mr. Bullet knows no friends. Okay? Same is true watching these, your aggressor is on a learning curve, and while they may have been toadies, and they may be airheads for the most part, step one, they can learn. They may have to take 2 more Ritalin, Ritalin tabs, or they might have to, shoot up on something, or maybe take a little more Prozac to, get their subconscious brain and, their aggressive tendencies moving forward. But they might still actually put, 2 and get to 4. And to a degree, they're already there. It's just misapplication or, improper application for the moment that can be fixed. Now, the patient wasn't very comfortable and, in fact, was in pain more from the treatment than, with most of these. You got to put the tourniquet on. We got to cinch it up real hard. Oh, the person wasn't screaming until the tourniquet was applied. But the patient also wasn't losing any blood. There wasn't any, arterial spurt or anything like that. And in fact, there was several of them have been like major lacerations that, you apply wound dressing, you apply pressure, you wrap the wound, and then you evacuate the casualty, okay? So prior proper planning and training, although that's a T, prior proper planning prevents poor performance, the P principle. Over and over again, this has to be applied. So you need to have and practice. We also need, again, go through and look at all these fantastic tutorials that have been done on blowout kits. Okay, still, that's a good basic direction to start. Let's say that you're right now listening to me. Now, there's a bunch of little medical courses you can take, but let's look at it this way. What most people are worried about is somebody getting tagged with something in 30 caliber, 38 special, 9 millimeter, whatever. Okay, whatever happens, however it happens, the most important thing is that you know how to deal with that particular type of injury. And most of the blowout application videos have been done by people who typically have actually had to apply them to somebody, maybe even themselves. So the good thing is that they're pretty well up to speed. We've got a lot of, we've had a lot of wasted time overseas, burning up a lot of human life, wasting a lot of energy. We weren't fighting for America. We were stealing oil for the Israelis so that they could rip off the Middle East and piss on America. But we did get a lot of time, learning time out of that. So there's a lot of people that know what they're doing, and they've taken the time to actually pass their working knowledge on. I know a lot of them seem to be repetition. That's good. Repetition is a good thing. Repeat, 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 repeat. Guess what? That's what you do when you want to learn. In fact, if you're going to shoot, what do? You shoot, 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 and shoot. Well, that's fun. Yeah, a lot of the other stuff isn't so much fun. But you still have to, in order to develop your skill, repeat, 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 repeat.
Hey, Mark.
That's part of the dirty work of being an adult, people. I got a caller. Who do we have? Jump in there, please.
Hey, this is Carl in Virginia. Just real quick before you wrap up the program. In Washington, D.C. over the weekend, there was I guess it was a drive-by shooting where they say 21 people, one person was killed. And, yeah, it was right there in Washington, D.C. And the funny thing is, when they're reporting it on TV, instead of, addressing black-on-black crime and gang violence, stuff like that, what they said was, well, if these people at this block party had been social distancing like they're supposed to, not as many people would have been shot.
Yeah, right, okay. If everybody had been social distancing, they still have a tendency. Here's one thing to remember about that. Usually the way they get shot is people run in herds, okay? No matter how hard you try, people are slower than others. And the moment that somebody was shooting at somebody, while people do beat feet pretty fast, the bullet is usually faster. It's just the way it works, So, yeah, and of course, I kind of wondered, and once again, it was a block party. Read that. It was a knuckle-dragger operation where people were out there in the street, me banging around, and I guarantee you what happened is somebody got yo-homie into somebody else's yo-homie, and all it took was the first cap to go off, and the rest were flying. Pop, pop, boom, boom. Yo, what it be? What up, though? Because you could just tell. And the verbiage nowadays, block party. There was a block party, Carl. You mean it was a gang rile? No, it was a block party. That's like all of the garbage about Antifa out west. It's just a big block party. It's like a big block party out there at Chaz, Chud, Chunk, Chung, Wong, Bunk, whatever its name was, because they kept changing the name. So, yeah, I did catch that. Forgive me, I hadn't really talked about it, but it's one of those typical, hey, yo homie was going against yo homie, and a lot of people got tagged. No, only one got killed. Pretty good. Everybody must be moving fast, and, and they might have even been social distancing better than everybody thinks, Carl. They might have already been really well spread out, which is why you didn't see too many KIAs, right? I kind of doubt it, but
Well, it was so funny because I heard like 3 different statements. One was put out by the mayor's office, another put out by the police department, and another put out by maybe the neighborhood or whatever. And all 3 of them were all they want to talk about was you need to be social distancing. Nobody was talking about gang violence or black-on-black crime. None. They just don't want to talk about it.
It's perfectly okay. And if they could, they'd bring it to your neighborhood where they would embrace their culture and embrace your culture, and in the process create bodies and casualties in your neighborhood. But we pretty well put the kibosh to that because we'll probably make bodies long before they get a chance to embrace much. So, yeah. Well, again, the hypocrisy of the time. It's going to get worse. It's like I said, the shipwreck is November. We got to keep repeating that with everybody. The shipwreck is in November. There's nothing going to fix this kind of stupid. And the repeat stupid by all the networks, by every politician is the same. There is no reality involved. There is no common sense. The idiot sticks that have been allowed to move to these positions are absolutely not. They're incompetent on a level that most people can't even begin to grasp. But they're disingenuous too. And then again, they're wicked sticks, wicked and stupid. You put the right combination together, what do you get? What we have right now going on. Look at the situation. And by the way, who are these people? These are the ones that are supposed to be reining this stuff in. Are they reining it in? No, they're towing the political correctness party line. Isn't that fascinating? It's right out of a sci-fi movie, isn't it? Or any 100 different fiction books you could read on basically the same kind of Twilight Zone future that everybody said couldn't happen, and you're living it now. That's what's fascinating to me. It's like, well, it would never be like that. Oh, look what you got. And again, when we let people with shoe-size IQs in all these positions look like, Frankenstein's bride, I mean, it constantly looks like somebody, the mayor of Chicago, I want you to think about this. If you look at her, think about it. You walk up, and if you ran up and hit somebody with a board and pulled the board back real quick, what would they look like? Like her. And that may not be a her, it might be a he. But you see that thing? Wow, man, look, smacked with the board and pulled the board back. Look what you get. Wow. Either that or shrunken head where they rehydrated and attached it to a body. I'm not sure. But why is it that seems to be the consistent look with almost all of these zombies? If you go to Washington, they're the same kind of, either they look like they already are on Prozac, or they're doing some kind of drugs that have just put them off into the zone, and they're not never coming back, son. They're just never coming back, sir. What do you mean? They're right here. No, sir, I mean, they're never coming back. They're gone. That's where we are with these fools. And think about this. Carl, do you think they're going to fix the country? Oop, Carl may be gone. I heard a ding. Think about it, guys. I'm going to ask you all the same thing. Look at these people, these creatures. I don't call them human anymore. But all these creatures we have that are doing all of it, do you think they're going to fix anything? Do you think they even have a clue about how to? Or do they even care to? These are the locusts, the incompetents, the idiots, the shoe-sized IQ destroyers that you are all supposed to stop from getting anywhere near any kind of position of power. And we are going to have a war now to clear them out. Because the ones behind them that are the real problem, who are wicked and pretty bright, know exactly what they're doing, using these organic meat puppets to destroy and burn down the country. So we all got to, like I said, one more time, we got a lot of work to do. We are headed to the top. And for all of you out there, God bless our republic.
Hey, Mark.
Yes. We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire's on the run. And we're on the march. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. For everybody out there, guys, if you can, organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. At the very least, master the trade as an individual and get together with whoever you can later on. But first of all, take care of your own needs. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. Ed, take it over. More LTR coming up. God bless. Bye-bye.
And the sun will always shine on the old Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. March along with the Piper boys, we were born forever free. Let's go pay the Piper boys beneath the Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Pay the price they're asking, boys, always pay the tyrant's fee. Never give up the struggle, boys, fight for the Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Stand for the rights of man, boys, stand against all tyranny. Hang the line.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
Join Mark and Todd for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12 gauge autoloader.
Sure.
The 45 long slide.
Yep.
With laser sighting.
You betcha.
The Uzi 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay, they'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MainMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MainMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MainMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MainMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
I was watching from the window, listening to the pouring rain, when I saw James flash a peace sign from the plane. And with one last look, he was off to fight for Uncle Sam in the war-torn jungles of South Vietnam. When he first arrived in country, could not believe his eyes, couldn't understand why people had to die. But he did his thing for Nixon, spilled blood upon the way. For most of the reasons he just couldn't defend. These days he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in their life. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where those Charlies died. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. When his second tour was over and he made his way back home, he felt defeated, discouraged, and alone. You might say he has some problems you wouldn't understand, though this wasn't quite the life that he had planned. He's been living in seclusion in a cabin by the lake. He's been seeking faith with every toke he takes. And now that pot's been legalized, well, this old broken man plans to move to Colorado when he can. These days he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in their life. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where the eagles fly. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. Jimmy bought a place near Denver where the air is fresh and clean. close to the mountains, the rivers, and the streams. A golden opportunity to start a brand new life for this purple-hearted soldier and his wife. The day that final curtain falls and it's Corporal Johnson's time, well, I hope that God will try to keep in mind the sacrifices that he's made to keep our country free, so that we could live in peace and harmony. These days, he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in Mirai. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where the eagles fly. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm Machine Gun Randy. It is 9:07, and it is time to open your Veterans Manual. I'm your host, Machine Gun Randy, and I come to you through Libertytreeradio.4mg.com. IndianaFreedomTalkRadio.com. And if you'd like to call the show tonight, you could do that at 712-432-0900. Activation code 957464#. A *6 will demute you. Again, those numbers are 712-432-0900. Activation code 957464#. A *6 will demute you. Again, if you want to call in tonight to let us know something or another, you can do that at 712-432-0900. Activation code a must 957464#. A *6 will demute you. Well, it is getting ready to give us a good storm here in central Michigan tonight. It's thunder, lightning, and winds are getting ready to blow. But other than that, it's been hot and muggy. And if you're coming home on leave, you're coming home behind the hurricane that hit down in South Carolina. And I've been so busy, I have not even heard nothing about what went on with that. I've been tied up with a few personal things, and I just haven't had time to get off the beach or anything. So that's what veterans are supposed to do. Their job is done. They sit back, and if they don't have to go to work, they relax. And
I feel bad for them if they got to work in the heat and humidity that we've had. But, hey, if you're a veteran and you got it coming, sit back and enjoy it. I know I am, but seriously, during this travel time of the year, everybody's out and about, and if you're flying and you see somebody that's messing with a soldier, don't let them do it. Jump on them, yell at them, scream at them, throw a pop bottle at them, but don't let them mess with our people. Those guys have had enough, and they don't need their crap. And they've been ordered not to engage with them. But what do you do when somebody comes up and they stand 3 inches from your nose and they ask you stupid questions and they're wanting to make a good show of the moment? But if you're there, don't let them do it. Put a stop to it. Yell at them. They're cowards. But mostly off, you got to watch out for the ones that are nuts and they come out with machetes and stuff. Watch out for those guys. But don't let them do it to our heroes. Those guys coming home, they are heroes, believe it or not. Just because they're there, just because they're in combat with guns being fired at them and they're firing guns, that makes them a hero in my book. Now you got another class of heroes, the ones that gave the ultimate, nobody can top them. But you can protect them. You can save their image. When you see people messing with them, you stop them. And that's something that's been old for all these years. Vietnam was terrible. You come home from Vietnam, it was terrible. But it kept up until, well, I guess a few years ago they came up with the welcome home buddy guys that come in and meet you at the airport and make sure you get straightened out and you get to where you're going and nobody messes with you. So that's good now. And it came 50 years too late, but it started happening 50 years ago. They started working on keeping people away from the veterans. Didn't happen with me. I was spit at as soon as I got off the airport. I was looking for a cab. They didn't get me, but they were spitting at me. They were called the spit platoon. There was 15, 20 of them. When I walked out, I heard aim, spit. And they weren't very good aims. I made it out of there. And the rest of the story I'm not telling you because it involves all kinds of stuff and not enough time. But I was welcome home with a hit of LSD given to me by the cab driver that saved me. He gives me a hit of LSD. And that messed my welcome home up. I wasn't home to be welcome home. Everybody came over to see me. But I split. I got out of there. I was so damn stoned. I'd seen things. I thought I'd seen things in Vietnam. And I didn't see nothing like that LSD put me through. So, watch out when you return home. Do what I did, and you might get the same thing because LSD is still out there. But my suggestion is don't take nothing from nobody. get home and get out of your uniform as soon as you can. I went as far as I bought wigs. I had a brown afro-type curly wig. I had a black straight wig. And I had a red wig. And when I was not on base, I had my wig on. Nobody knew I was in the military, and I got into all the parties and hot spots. But they didn't like military, so military didn't get to get into them. All you had to do was buy a wig, make sure it didn't come off in the wrong place. And what could the wrong place be for a wig in the middle of a hip-hop party? And so if you are coming home from the service and you are about to get out of the service, don't forget to check in at the VA. They're there. They're going to be there to help you. They're not there to incriminate you on anything. They're there to help you. When you go to see them, take your records with you, your DD-214 especially. If you don't have that, they're going to send you right away. Now, if you've been listening to me, if you've known that you was getting out of the service, you could have, if you didn't, get a hold of the Veterans Administration and get all your paperwork and stuff started months before you get home, so that when you get home, you don't have to wait for months. They've gone through that. That's what they've done. So utilize it. Get to know how to get in touch with the VA. All you got to do is go to their office. But right now they got that coronavirus, so you want to check, get in touch with them to see if you're going to be able to get in, and talk to them and get your case started. And what can the VA do for you? They can do wonders for you. I've just found out how wrong they can be. But there's so much bullshit attached to what I have found out. I don't think I'm going to break it out until I'm going to get a hold of Ed tomorrow at his house at home and explain to Ed what went down. I mean, it's really some... Wow. I wish I could tell you right now. They really messed Machine Gun up, I'll tell you that. What they did was about 99, 2000. I was working at a pawn shop in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. That was in 99. And I seen that they had a thing on CNN about hepatitis C. It had just broke out what hepatitis C was, how you got it. And when they went through how you got it, I kind of figured that I would be up with it. And what happened was they gave me... I had hepatitis C, they said. It was so minute that it didn't show up, other than the liver enzymes that came out of my blood work was 6, and there should have been 5. So that gave them reason to think that I had hepatitis C. And I'd already known 3 people who had died suspiciously of liver problems, and they didn't know what hepatitis C was. And when they told me I had it, I didn't know what to think. they offered me some interferon, and I checked it out, and that was a no. I'd have rather died than taken that stuff. It didn't do anything but kill you anyways. It had a 40% chance of working, and it had a 90% chance of giving you things that you really didn't want to have. That was the only way they could fight hepatitis C. I decided not to take it, and I went and they had me meet with Dr. Massey, and he agreed with me. My numbers were so minute that if they did start rising, there would be time for me to start interferon at any time. And he told me then that they had a new drug coming out that would be about 10 years before it's here. And he says, just keep what you've been doing and you'll get through this. And I asked him then, what was the difference between him and Dr. Nugent, who sent me to see him? And he says, Dr. Nugent, he is a infectious disease doctor, and I only work with hepatitis C. I'm the most knowledgeable person on hepatitis C that there is. That's all I study. And you'll be fine. So that's the way it went. Now, here comes the BS from the VA. I had things going wrong down south. The air wasn't flowing through, if you know what I mean. I became impotent. Well, I went in to see the doctor. He told me that with what I had going on with the Hep C and everything, that I should see, there's nothing wrong with me. He said I should see a psychologist because it very well could be mental. So I went and seen this idiot. He talked to me, checked all my things out, and he told me that I could be taken care of. He was going to give me Viagra, and he told me to take it an hour after I eat a meal. I did. Got my wife, went to bed, total disappointment. I went through the 10 pills they gave me for a month. I went through them in about 5 days. Called the doctor up, told him it didn't work. He said, well, try it again. I said, I don't have no more to try it with. He said, you took all them? And I said, yeah, nothing's happened. So that went on through Viagra, Cialis, injections, and everything that they could imagine to put me through, and it all failed. So that was it as far as me and my wife went in the bedroom. So after about 5-6 years, still no results on anything to get things moving. So she went on, I'm going to say, things didn't go right. So I was talking to my doctor the other day, talking about getting a hernia replaced before I start going out singing. And we started talking. He asked me how things were in that area, and I told him, well, look, it hasn't changed. He says, what hasn't changed? I says, well, Dr. Price put me through all them, changed all them tests and everything, and they couldn't find out. They couldn't do anything for my epilepsy. So he said, I told him I tried every way they told me to try it, and then, and he says, well, how'd they tell you to try it? I told them that they told me to try it by eating a light meal an hour before I took the pill and going to bed. He said, they told you what? And I said, yeah, they told me to eat a light meal. He says, those are taken by empty stomach. If you took them on a full stomach, the food took everything. You got nothing. They need to be taken on an empty stomach. So, I was that way for 21 years. And through that time, it turned out my wife wasn't faithful. And she went 20 years without me knowing anything. All of that because a damn doctor told me to take Viagra on a full stomach. Now, my wife's dead. Everything's turned down on me. He was my best friend for 20 years. Every time they wanted to be together, he'd come up with something for me to do, and bang. All that because a doctor told me to take my medication on a full stomach. Ruined my life. Divorced me 21 years before she died. And I don't know what to do. I'm just in a dilemma. I'm so screwed up over this. I don't know. For 21 years, I was ruined, and then I found out the reason was the damn doctor told me to eat before I took a pill, and that's what it led to. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Should I see a lawyer? Should I see another doctor? Should I blow my friggin' brains out? This has got me. I've never had anything come out like this. I've always knew what to do. I always had a handle on things. This is new. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't trust no professional to talk to, I'll tell you that. There's not a doctor out there that I feel comfortable with talking about that. I've always thought good about the VA. Now, it's not the whole VA's fault. This is one psychiatrist that was about 78 years old, looked like, told me to eat before I took the pill, and he should have definitely known that. Was he getting ready to retire and do that on purpose? I mean, I just don't comprehend how something that important could be taken down by mistake. Okay, doctors been giving them scripts out for 10 years now, and they've been doing it on empty stomachs. All of a sudden, I'm told to take and eat when I shouldn't have that, and it tore my whole marriage up. It tore my whole life up. And hey, what's one to do? I don't know. I think I'm going to talk to a lawyer, see what he tells me to do. This is really strange. But it's time for rockin' chair money, Eddie. I got to do something here. Let's play some rocking chair money. Eddie.
Customizing and saving with Now I got rocket chair money, but I got it the hard way. I fought in every battle from the start to the VJ day. Now I'll rock, yeah, rock. Oh baby, rock, rock on down the line. Now some folks seem to be jealous, some don't seem to care. But I got rocket chair money, honey, to rock on away from here. 'Cause I love to rock, yeah, rock. Baby, rock, rock on down the line. I rocked way out on the ocean, I rocked from here and there. My baby stepped out while I was gone, now she don't get my rocking chair. 'Cause I love to rock, yeah, rock. Baby, rock, rock on down the line. I'll soon get my big check, baby, and then we'll have some fun. This rocking chair money, honey, is better than toting a gun. 'Cause I love to rock, yeah, rock. Baby, rock, let's rock on down the line. Now, honey, let's go honky-tonk. Let's honky-tonk all night. Let's lollygag and smooch and love and do it all up right. 'Cause I love to rock, yeah, rock. Baby, rock, let's rock on down the line.
Well, okay, I got my head cleared now. And this is the part of the show that I've declared war on the tobacco industry. Now, no matter what I said the past half show, through it all, I still love my wife. And I did not expect her to go out cancer the way she did. And it be okay with the government. It's okay with the tobacco industry. Well, it's not okay with me, and I don't think it's okay with a bunch of other people. They got a license to kill, and they're using it. They're distributing cigarettes to as many people as they can to satisfy their stockholders. Now, it's true. The government knows it. You know it. You listen to me every week now. I'm going to just keep this up until I'm either kicked off the air or I win and the tobacco companies are shut down. They're, why they're there? What do they serve other than tax money for the government to keep them going? They do no good for anybody other than the government, and of course their stockholders. We can't forget their stockholders. Their stockholders bought my wife. You know, back in 59, whatever it was, Pam started smoking, they told her, you know, it was known that tobacco wasn't addictive. It was fun. It was pleasure. It was cool. You know, Newport breeze. You sit on the beach and smoke your Newports and go to where, I don't know. I don't know how they come out and made the American public think that cigarette smoking was just so dandy, and it turned out to be so dangerous. And they knew it. They knew it. When they brought it out, they knew that nicotine was something there, because people started dying when they started using it. It started way back when. This just wasn't a phase that came in the 20s. They've been smoking cigarettes way, way, way back. But they didn't put it together. Now they got it together. They know that it's poison. They know that they're distributing death in packs and cartons. It might take 2,000 cartons. They might get lucky, and you might live through 200,000 cartons. Wouldn't that be great? Give all that 200,000 cartons worth of money to the tobacco company. And now you got cancer, and you're going to the doctor, and you've got medical bills coming in paid by insurance companies. Now, why does the insurance company continue to make it like it's a average thing? It's what it is. People's going to smoke, and people's going to die, and we're going to pay the insurance bill. Is that why our insurance is so high? Or is it because the pharmaceutical companies are making enough money selling things that kill you too? Things like narcos, Preludes. That's the company in Cincinnati, or not Cincinnati, Connecticut. The Prelude company, they make the narcos that comes from them. When it was brought out, it was based as a painkiller that you could take as many pills of them as you needed, and you would not be addicted. Then they came up and said, wait a minute, you can't take all them pills. You got to cut them back to maybe 12 a day. Well, people are dying from them. They knew it was going to happen, and now they're blaming it on the patient. They're saying that they're taking too many of them pills. They've been told how to take them. But now we're in an area where we have doctors that are cheating their patients out of their pills so they can take them. We've got nurses that are addicted to their patients' medications. When they're supposed to get 10, the provider gets 4, and they get the rest sugar, water, or whatever. That's a fact. Doctors are junkies. Was the doctor that told me about the Viagra, was he high? What's going on? It's really, really crazy, especially when it's stretched out over 20 years and you know nothing about it. Everybody that I talk to, They said they knew about it, and they was told by them that it was consensual. If I'd known that, I would have blown Joe's brains out, and probably hers, and maybe mine. All because a messed up doctor gave me the wrong instructions. And how does it come out like that? Go from an empty stomach to make sure you have a nice little meal before you take that pill. I still hear that old son of a bitch telling me that. And that was 21 years ago. And these, I don't know what, my doctor, he didn't know what to say. He was devastated when I was talking to him. He didn't tell me anything about what I might have as far as rights go. You know, he didn't tell me, you know, you should go see a lawyer or anything. But the concern was there. He was teared up and he was telling me, Randy, I don't know what to tell you. Don't know how that happened. And I don't know how it happened. You know, I was told to come to VA, and now I've lost. I was divorced from my wife 20 years before she died because of that decision of that doctor, or that instructions from that doctor. And, well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to do. What do you do? You know, after she's dead, I can't divorce her. I can't shoot her. I wouldn't have shot her before she died. I wouldn't have shot Joe. Might have shot myself. But I've gotten through it, and I'm going to continue to go through it. I can't die. My fucking check will stop. Excuse my language. But, wow, what do you do? Your whole medical field that was in front of you is supposed to work with you. Your provider is supposed to go over everything. And somewhere along the way there, they found out that you're supposed to eat before you take Viagra, or you don't take before you eat Viagra. Some people think you do both. Maybe. It don't matter. But my doctor now says it matters. And it's simple. Don't eat. Then he told me he was going to order me 10 pills, Viagra's. And I said, for what? We got to see if it works or not. So I guess I'm going to have to find me a partner to find out if it works or not. But hey, that's what this fucking show all about. Let them know how they messed up. Well, they messed me up. They messed my wife up. They messed the whole happy thing messed up. All because of the doctor who gave the wrong instructions. And, you know, I've talked enough about this. Let's talk about some tobacco companies that should be shut down. Let's talk about tobacco companies that are selling your wife cigarettes, selling your son cigarettes, selling your grandma cigarettes. How about the ones that are selling them to you? If you're smoking cigarettes, you're killing yourself. If you're in an industry that makes, distributes, and sells and distributes tobacco, you're murderers. You're killing people, and you know it. You've been doing it. Our government, they've been letting it happen. They're an accessory to murder, and they should be filed that way. they should be taken in to court and prove that they did not mean to sell them cigarettes to anybody. I know people that did time, real hard time on marijuana. Yeah, hard time, 20 years. Something they would do 10, 12. Look what happened to white boy Rick. He went in at 16. He just got out. And now they're threatening him again. And all he was doing was working for them, and he got tired of it. So they jailed him. So when you're going up the system, watch out, because they know how to get you. But these tobacco companies, they got to go. I'm tired. I got Cassie this next Wednesday. She's going in for her acupuncture to quit smoking. And I'm telling everybody out there who can afford it, that has lost somebody to cancer, you feel bad about it, take 10 people and put them through an acupuncture. Try one, see if it works. It works 98% of the time, I was told. Well, we'll find out, and I'll let you know how Chassie's going to do. The doctor that I was talking to with Cassie, I asked her how soon would she know after her acupuncture was done, and she said as soon as it's over with, she will know. And most of the people, she said there's only been 2 people that she's been working with in 20 years, only 2 people didn't get off the cigarettes. Well, plenty had to come back for extra treatments. But they eventually got off of it within the year. So that, to me, is worth going to and getting off them cigarettes so that you don't have to sit in your hospital bed in your living room with your family around you telling you goodbye. They told me, Pam, she had started breathing real shallow breaths, and it was coming. It was coming within hours. And they made me, they didn't make me. Nobody could make me do anything. But they got me to go into the other room. And they came in and yelled, and I woke up and I went in, and she was gone. Stacy walked by her, 10 after 6. Told him, I love you, and kissed her on the forehead, and Pam woke up and said, I love you too. And she died. Thank you, American Tobacco Company. You killed my wife. Now I don't have to watch her smoke your damn cigarettes. But you bastards, watch out, because I'm on my way, and I am going to come with the army, and we are going to get you down. You killed my wife, and you killed a lot of people's wives, and husbands, and children, and grandparents. You're murderers. You're Jesse James without a gun. And I have nothing sorrow for you, because when you leave this world, you're going to have to answer to somebody much bigger than anybody you've seen. And he knows what poisons you've been leaking out. But I guess if you do something like that, you don't believe in God. Well, he's gonna judge you. He'll judge you. You killed millions of people. Not yourself, but your industry. And that makes you part of it because you know you're doing it with intent to kill. You know it's going to kill people. And you still grow it. You still cure it. You still grind it up. And you still sell it. So I am going to sit and complain about this. Half hour and 2 hour shows, that makes an hour a week. You're going to hear me belly aching to the government. Why do you let them do it? Is it the tax money? I asked the insurance company, how come you got to pay for an industry that's draining you financially, and they are reaping in the profits? Keep on buying them cigarettes, you fools. My kids are with you. They're all of my kids are smoking your damn cigarettes. Hopefully that's going to stop. I'm thinking maybe an acupuncture might be the answer. And if it is, I will definitely let you know, because there's nothing more that would please me than to see it work so good that the United States is done with them. You know, they keep us from smoking marijuana because why? It don't give you cancer like cigarettes do. But they're so concerned about it, they won't release it. They won't take it off of the schedule list, number one. It's up there in a list with heroin. Cigarettes aren't there. Heck, cigarettes ain't on the schedule list at all. Maybe that's why they're not worried about it, because nobody knows they're not on the list. Well, wake up, they're not on the list. Why is marijuana on the list? It has nothing to do with hurting anybody any way, shape, or form. People feel more nervous about eating peanut butter than they do smoking a doobie. I know that's another show, but you know what? Nicotine needs to be taken down and marijuana needs to be released. It will be a drug that will stop a whole bunch. And that's why they don't want it out there, because they're worried about the pharmaceutical companies that won't be paying them taxes. They didn't worry about the automobiles when they shut Detroit down, and my family lost their jobs because of their new way of doing business. And now they're killing us with cigarettes. Well, maybe that's part of the plan, because you know the New World Order, their plan is to get rid of 2/3 of the world population. That's not cigarettes. It takes too long. It can take up to 60 years. It can take up to 70 years to kill you. But as long as you're not dead, you're giving them money, and they're happy with that. So you people out there that are continue to smoke, you deserve your fate. Even my kids, they know what it is. They watched my wife die. And I'm just hoping that this year acupuncture and stuff will work. Something's got to come out of it, because the government should come out of it. They should go in there and tell the tobacco industry it's time to shut down. Hello. Oh, don't know what that was. Anyways, it's too early for the cold lock show, but good. Yeah, we've done it one time before.